Hey yo, here we are, the big guy, JC3, Mr. James C Speaks. Hey, today I thought about doing a video on nothing but cheap plugs for businesses, right? And it got me thinking, why do cheap plugs when I can do a good plug for a veteran-owned business? But like everything else I do and everything else I want to do, there's got to be a story involved, right? Tell a story, promote somebody else outside of myself, and to also get a message across. So today, let's highlight my man, Jay the Barber Perez. 92 Mike Community's own, right? Sergeant, United States Army, left service, started his own business. A little story about me and Mr. Jay Perez. When I first came in the Army, he was in the unit, but he was out on a mission, so it was a couple months till we got introduced. You know, I started building my name and started running around saying crazy things, you know, being a former college athlete, not a good one, but a former one. You know, I was real high on my horse, had a lot of ego, a lot of false thoughts of legend in my mind, right? As you will. So, and you know, he was a pretty hard-working dude from New York. You know, had a little bit of an edge to him, and people were like, yo, wait till Perez gets back, you got to meet Perez. And you know, when you put two alphas together, it doesn't always go that well. So we met each other one day in the motor pool. You know, we were slinging some tents out the back of this truck and stuff like that, and we didn't like each other. We were both alpha mentality, right? Type A personalities. But there became a mutual respect there of hard work. And you know, once I let my ego go a little bit and he kind of realized that I was just a regular dude, I just said things really loud and worked real hard, and you know, wanted to bust my fourth point of contact so I can make my money and do my job to the best of my ability, right? I found out he was a barber. So my man was cutting hair out of a little spot he built right outside of his house. Literally, like right offset of his driveway, he had this little building, and he was cutting hair in there. You went in, it had one chair, mirrors, had a TV and some seats for everybody to go in, and he was always busy. My man was struggling to find time for his family, for himself, you know, to really, you know, put it in perspective. He was he was balancing the Army, he was balancing cutting hair, making you know, money on the side, or as we can say nowadays, a side hustle, right? And family life, and then, you know, personal time, decompression time. So that was 2006, 2007. Fast forward the story, right? I left Fort Lee, went on down to the great place, Fort Hood, Texas, became a member of that legendary 1st Cav Division. Anyways, I deployed in 2009. So halfway through my tour, my mortuary team switched out, and in came Perez and the fellas, right? He had a good team with him, Machacek and Pagan and a couple other individuals. So he gets there, and I'm like, oh man, it's a blast from the past, and we get to working and everything. But there's one thing he did that really stood out to me. Was he said, hey man, you know, we're in a combat zone, we're doing stuff like that, and yes, we still got to get haircuts if you're on base over there, so don't get it twisted. He's like, hey man, I'm gonna cut y'all's hair for free. We're like, really? Like, I was paying you 10-15 bucks a haircut with a $5-10 tip, you know what I'm saying? Really putting the money out there to help you and your family and appreciate your service. So with that being said, he was cutting our hair for free. But something got me. It was like, hey man, we're over here, high stress environment, working 24 hours a day, just really going in, mentally taxing, physically hard and tough, right? But he's like, man, I was like, yo, why aren't you charging? And he's like, hey, you know, look where we're at. You know, money's not the most important thing. Yes, it is important, but it's not the most important thing. He's like, so if I can cut y'all's hair for free, y'all gonna work even harder for me or with me. And I'm like, man, that makes sense. Because when a guy takes a skill set or a gal takes a skill set that they have and they apply it to help you in a situation, man, you do anything for them, you do anything to make their life better. And it worked. You know, not only did he do it just because he had the skill, but he did it because he didn't want us paying $10-12 for a basic standard, you know, Shopette PX haircut. So he was cutting for free. But something cool about him though was that not only was he cutting our hair, my man was cutting his own hair. So we sit out there out the back door at a collection point. He done set up 2 mirrors and got clippers in one hand. I'm like, there's no way this guy's gonna pull it off. Sure enough, I think he saved his best skill and talent for himself though, because he had the best haircut. So I was trying to figure out how You're gonna give me a free haircut, but yours gonna look better? Come on, Jay. Anyways, he would cut his own hair and everything like that. So they left, and I didn't see him for a while. I went to school twice. I went in 2015 and 2017 to a couple leadership courses up there at Fort Lee, and they were like, hey, you know, Jay got his own barbershop right out the gate. So I went over there, and I tell you what, true, genuine people, when it has been 3, 4, 5 years, 10 years, whatever it is, genuine people when you see them and you pick up right where you left off. There's no lapse in time. There's none of that. You give each other a dab, give each other a hug, man. Talk about how old y'all done got. Talk about your gray hair and all that. And you ask about the families. Once that's done, man, you just kind of pick up. You go on about your day. Tell them about that. You talk about, what your future's doing, what your plans. And Jay's that kind of guy, man. Unfortunately, my timeline didn't meet up. But the first thing he said was, hey, let me know when you got time from school, or let me know when you're not going to see your dad, man, and I'll take you out to lunch. And I'm just like, hey, like, this guy's out here just doing his thing, and he wants to take me to lunch. So it means a lot. So Jay Perez, man, I wish you the best of luck, and here's your plug. Hey, for all my logisticians and sustainers that are headed to Fort Lee anytime soon for any kind of school, PCS, or even just to visit old friends, right outside of my home gate on Country Drive, check out my man, Jay the Barber Perez. Check him out, the cutting edge. I'll say it again, the cutting edge. He's got 4.5 stars on Google. Let's get him to 5. So the message from that, take care of your community, and your community will take care of you. If you have a skill, apply it to those in need. But then again, don't diminish your self-worth for somebody else's value. We'll talk about that again at another time. As always, JC3, stay blessed.